Hello everyone, welcome back to My Intelligence. We are here with Young and we will be having a day in the life where we're going to hear all about her internship this past summer. So, hi Young, thank you so much for being here with us today. Can you start off with just introducing yourself?
Happy to be here. My name is Young and I'm a third year student at Rotman Commerce, University of Toronto, specializing in finance and economics. And for my second year summer, so last summer, I worked at BMO Capital Markets as an investment banking summer analyst. And then for next year summer, I'm going to TD Securities for the same role.
That's awesome, Ayang. And could you describe your job at BMO a little bit more and what your tasks were, how it basically went?
Just to give you kind of like an overview of investment banking, we kind of call investment banking as like real estate agents for corporations. So we help them with any like merger and acquisition activities or IPOs, debt raising, restructuring. So any kind of big financial like moves that a firm makes in their like lifetime as a corporation. So that is what investment banking is about. So as investment bankers, we assist in those transactions and help them with the process and also pitch new ideas so to make those transactions happen as well. And as an investment banking analyst, my job was basically to generate presentations that relates to those ideas. So generate pitch books, work on pitch books. So I think majority of my responsibilities were involved around Excel, where I actually performed those financial analysis, and then moving on to like presentations where we make client friendly slides that they see value in. Yeah.
Sounds really fun. So you mentioned that you use a lot of Excel and as well, I'm guessing PowerPoint for the presentations. Could you tell us a bit more if you used any other programs? Like did you use Bloomberg or Capital IQ, Power BI, any of those programs? And if you did, can you tell us a little bit of how you learned to use these programs? So were you trained on the job or was this expected of you coming in?
Yeah, for sure. So it depends on the bank you're working at, but a lot of banks do use Capital IQ or FactSet and Bloomberg as well. But Bloomberg isn't used as much in banking as the other two financial intelligence platforms. And at BMO, we use FactSet and all the training was provided by BMO. So that was really useful. And in my school, we get access to FactSet as well. So I think I had a bit of a prior like information / knowledge going into the internship. So that was really great as well. Yeah.
Awesome. And could you tell us a bit more about what you were doing with Excel? What particular technical skills within Excel you were mostly utilizing? If somebody wanted to, do your job, what should they prepare with respect to Excel?
First of all, during training, we were given access to this course called Wall Street Prep. It's like a website, and they give you like Excel training that you can like watch short videos and then like learn it yourself. So I did that as like a preparation to the internship. And as for like what kind of technical skills I used within Excel, mainly I was linking like the Excel to all the FactSet formulas to perform like financial analysis. And because I was placed in the energy group within BMO, we had a lot of like liquidity problems due to COVID. So I was doing a lot of that over the summer, as well as like comps and precedents, which are like master files that we need to keep. Like it's like an ongoing thing. So I was doing that as well. And in terms of the technical skills, I think shortcuts are a big help. And I also used a lot of like FactSet assistants that we had 24/7 to like figure out what kind of formulas we need to use.
Awesome. So apart from the technical skills that you had to learn for your internship, can you tell us a bit about some of the soft skills that you noticed were really important, especially working from home during the era of COVID?
So I think the most important thing is like communication. So that really like encompasses a lot of things, whether that's through emails or calls. But I think because in investment banking, you're placed in like deal teams, which are like teams for like the project you're working on. It is really important when you're juggling multiple projects to inform your analyst or associate or whoever you're working with what is going on and what kind of stuff you're working on. And especially because it's work from home, I think it was really hard for other to like identify what you're working on unless you communicated that. So I thought that was a really necessary skill. The second thing is, I think, positive attitude. So one of the challenges I faced when I was working from home is not being able to be with the team when we're actually working late at night. Because if we were in the office, we would have actually like motivated each other, I guess, in person. So I think even though it's virtual, it's really important to show that attitude through like whether it's email or call, always asking like the analyst or the associate whether you like guys needed anything, like is there any additional work to be done, even though it's like late at night and you still have a lot of work to do, just to show that attitude and show that you're willing to learn. So I thought those two were the most important.
And speaking of late nights, what were your hours like?
That's a very good question. I think it is very project dependent for sure. And a lot of people, when they think of investment banking, they imagine like 100 hours work week, which is like partially true, but you're not working for that entire duration of 100 hours. But I think like to be very frank with the hours, my work started at 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. And if I had projects on the weekends, then I would work through the weekends as well. But weekends, BMO tended to be more flexible, so I could like get up whenever I wanted, and if I finished the work, I could sign off. So yeah, those were the hours.
So when you're working these long hours, does it ever get really stressful? And if you did feel some stress, can you tell us a bit about what you did to mitigate that?
I think like the long hours part, it sounds very intimidating at first. And for a couple of weeks in, I had a very hard time adjusting to it. But once I adjusted to it, I was pretty okay with sleeping less and working more hours. But I think the more challenging part is with when you're managing multiple projects and when you're actually in that high pressure environment. So for that situation, I think it's really important to like take the time to process the problem and really think about what you're trying to tackle and prioritize your task and communicate to people that you are dealing with these kind of tasks. Like recognize that there's always light at the end of the tunnel and the task will be over soon and there will always be people that are helping you. Take a 5-minute break just off work so that you actually like have time to yourself and like realize what you're feeling and that kind of stuff.
That's actually really interesting. Was it a typical thing for them to throw last minute projects at you, or were they very aware of the fact that you were an intern and you still were getting into it and managing everything was relatively new?
It's a bit of a misconception, to be honest, to imagine investment banking as a really intense, high pressure, like you have to know everything from the get-go kind of job. But in my opinion, like the people that I was working with were so nice and helpful. And they actually wanted you to ask questions and they checked up on me to see like how I'm feeling about the job, how I'm feeling about the work. So I think they did a really good job in doing that. And I was very grateful to have a team like that. So I would say they're always there to help you. And the team is very supportive and collaborative. Yeah.
And I think that earlier you did mention what team you were a part of, but do you mind telling us again what team you were a part of and kind of what you did specifically for that team? So not investment banking as a whole, but that particular team that you were on.
At BMO, I was working in the investment banking division and I was working in the energy group. So because investment banking is divided into a industry group and the product group, I was part of the industry group and like energy within it. When you're working in an industry group, you're focused more on the industry. I was doing a lot of like pitching and like company.
Finally, do you have any advice for anyone who might be doing their investment banking internship either in the wintertime or the summertime?
I think the most important advice is to be really like genuinely curious. So I think a lot of people tend to see internship as like a segue to full time, and they put a lot of emphasis into like getting that return offer and really making a good impression. But on the other hand, it is a really good learning opportunity for you, and it's really important to seize that by asking questions to other people, be networking, and also see like reading up the like resources that are given to you like within the firm you're working in. So I think it's really important to utilize those. And to that point, like when you're working on a pitch deck or like when you're working on projects, it's really easy to focus on that one thing and not see the other and like fail to see the big picture. But in my perspective, like listening to like my VPs or like MDs talking, that was really helpful in me getting insights. I would say like focus on the big picture and try to see like things in different lens and try to get, like absorb as much as possible like a sponge. I think that is the most important advice that is given to me and that I would give to others. Yeah.
I definitely agree. That was amazing advice. Thank you so much for being with us today. And this brings us to the end of our day in the life video with Ayang. Again, thank you so much for being here. I definitely learned a lot, especially with an industry like investment banking, which almost everyone wants to do it, but it's so hard. So thank you so much for all the great advice. And if you haven't checked out Ayang's Land the Job video, make sure to do that. And if you're still curious about what you want to do, check out My Intelligence. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.